So I want to share, give you a quick run through about Trump prophecy. What do I think about Trump and his second term as the President of the United States of America? So here's the thing, okay? About 27 years ago, I became a born again, and that is in about 1995. I was born again in 1995, 1996, and within like 3 months, God came. When I was reading the book of Revelation, God gave me a vision. That is the first time I have that type of vision that is like, I see the future from the Bible. I was actually reading the 5th and the 6th trumpet in about 1996. So at that time, I saw this vision. You can see this behind me. I saw this vision, and that was an event during the Persian Gulf War when Saddam burned like 700 oil wells. Okay, when I was reading the 5th and the 6th trumpet, that's what I see. There's all the smoke coming out of the ground, and I have this vision of the Gulf War. And I say to myself, dang, this is like, if this is really happening according to my vision, okay, the Gulf War was like in 1990, 1991, was like 5 to 6 years ago at that time. So if that is really happening according to my vision, then the end time is already started halfway through. And for most Christians, the first thing that came to our mind was that, hey, Christ is coming. Christ is coming. And that was like a very profound moment, because imagine that was like just slightly, okay, after I was born again. But a born again experience is like a peak experience where you really meet God face to face. It's an experience that is almost like Paul when he met Jesus, okay? There's no question about if I really see Jesus or really see God at that time. It was a very profound, most profound experience in all my life. And at that time, I just cry of happiness. The feeling is that it's almost like I just met, you just met your long lost parents. But actually, they're not lost. They're always with you. The realization was that Jesus has always been with me all the time in my life. And that was so profound. It's almost like in the scriptures, your heart call out to God, Abba, Father. And there's no doubt about me, meeting God at that time. So it was a very intense experience. And after a few months, I have this, apocalyptic vision. So it was all very surreal to me that the end time was happening at that time. And if you know about your end time, you know that Irvin Baxter Jr., the founder of End Time Ministry, also speaks about the same thing. He said that the 5th and the 6th trumpet is the Persian Gulf War. Well, the last time I read about him, he changed his mind from the 6th. Just the 5th trumpet is the Gulf War, because he couldn't figure out what is Revelation 10 and afterwards, so he got stuck in just like Revelation 5 and the 6. So that's not what happened to me, because I was able to decipher all the symbols in the book of Revelation. Okay. At a time when I have this vision of the 5th and the 6th trumpet as a Persian Gulf War, You can read about it. The details are very astounding. We have the 700 oil wells that was burned for nearly a year. The locusts that look like metallic, iron bees that, people can ride on it is helicopter. So if you actually believe that the, 666 is a chip of some kind that's going to be embedded on your hands, imprinted on your hands, it's all about technology. Some people say to me, and they're waiting for this like a monster from the abyss, something like Godzilla. I say, go ahead, you can wait for it. And the duration, during the 5th and the 6th trumpet, is about 5 months from the time that Saddam Hussein attacked Kuwait, and the UN resolution deadline for him to move out of Kuwait was about 5 months. So that's according to the prophecy in the book of Revelation concerning the 5th and the 6th trumpet. And we have one of the biggest tank war, which Saddam coded as the mother of all wars, in the Euphrates River, which ran through Iraq down the Persian Gulf War. So the location is exactly as it said. And some people just say that they should have like 200 million soldiers. Right now, if we add all the soldier, all the armies and all the reserve in the world together, I don't think we have more than 100 million or so, which this is a really big figure. I don't think we will ever have a 200 million, but in the Bible, it's just numerical, the largest Roman numerical, which is 200 million. That's just saying that that's a lot. And it's like a multi-nation coalition, during the Gulf War. So the 5th and the 6th trumpet, according to Irvin Baxter, and according to me, is the same event. And we both seen it, He's on the other side of the planet, I'm in Thailand. So we both don't have knowledge. We both don't have the knowledge of what we are doing, but then we came to the same conclusion that the 5th and the 6th trumpet is the Persian Gulf War. So when I figured that out, the things that comes to my mind is that when I was in high school in Singapore, there's this Newsweek article that somebody wrote about the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, about in 1986. And he wrote that the word Chernobyl in Ukraine means wormwood. And he was talking about this event according to the 3rd trumpet. And this is also the point that Irvin Baxter points out, that he also believed that the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in Ukraine is the wormwood, is the 3rd trumpet. So we both share similar, end time timeline. But other than that, we have completely different events. The first thing that I got from there after the Chernobyl, I think about this big boom, Big Bang. The seals, the last of the seals, the 6 seals. What could have done that? What is explosive? What kind of explosive that could have done that? The only thing that comes to my mind is nuclear. Is atomic bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And it just happens to be at the right pace in the book of timeline of the Revelation. If you have Chernobyl in 1986, if you have like Persian Gulf War in 1990, and 1991, then the atomic bomb is not too far in the past. So that actually comes to mind, and it's like the most, is the most significant event. Okay, we have the humankind as the first capable of destroying the whole world, right? So what could it be? That's Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And if you know your Greek, past Nasos and past Oros, all the mountains and all the islands, actually you can really translate in Japanese, that is Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, Shima means island. Hiro means wide, right? Hiroshima, wide. It can also, in Chinese, the kanji character can also say the whole, the whole wide island. So actually it's not past, doesn't mean just one island. It just means like the whole wide island that is moved away. Okay, that is like Hiroshima. And Nagasaki, Saki in kanji, Chinese etymology, means a piece of land, a piece of mountain, a mountain that is sticking out of the water, of the sea, of the ocean. That's we call it Saki, the root word of the Saki. And Naga means long. It can also means the whole length, right? So it past actually has similar connotation. It's like the whole wide island that's being moved away. So actually, past Oros and past Nasos could actually be what God is implying. Give us a hint of the location, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I just want to go back a little bit about the fifth and the sixth trumpet. If the Harvard professor, I don't remember his name, but you can look it up, in the Irvin Baxter Jr. Anti-Ministry about the fifth and the sixth. Saddam actually in Arabic means the crusher, or the angel of the apocalypse, Apollyon and Abaddon. Okay, that means the destroyer. So names in the Bible actually means, God give us names of the location and the people. So it's not. So it's actually pretty significant. Okay, it's actually pretty significant that God gave us this, hints about Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the name, and the event is just like apocalypse, right? The most destructive weapons of all time. So what leads to this event? And then before I just move forward in the book of Revelation timeline, I have moved backwards a little bit from that atomic bomb. And if what could be the events in slightly before 1986 and slightly before 1986, and just after, not too long from 1945 of the atomic bomb. And then there's this vision that I see. Well, it's a vision, but it's also a realization of Vietnam War, because look at all this like bombs coming out of the sky, right? And all this hailfire mixed with blood coming, and all this tree destroyed. And the thing that comes into my mind is the Vietnam War. You watch this movie Apocalypse Now, and you see all this B-2 bombers, having all this like bombs, from the sky, raining down from the sky. Looks like hail. And looks like fire because it's a bomb, right? So things that comes to mind is Vietnam War, which is like from 1955 to 1975. And for me, the first trumpet is actually Vietnam War. Okay, I think a lot of American evangelical doesn't pinpoint this event because it's like the United States is the bad guy, doing this harm to the world, right? Raining fire and hail. but for me, it's pretty obvious. Okay, the Laos actually was bombed 260 millions, of bombs during the 9 years event. It's like a few minutes and there's this one bomb going on all day and night, 24/7. And United States also sprayed this Agent Orange, which is about 13 million gallons, all for like deforestation. All this plant was like destroyed because they couldn't get to the Viet Cong, right? They are all hiding under the forest, tropical forest, so they have to spray the forest with this chemical and trying to, destroy all this trees so that they can get to the Viet Cong. But this Agent Orange has a very adverse, adverse effects on human as well. So this is a very environmental pollution. One of the worst kind. You have the bomb and you have the Agent Orange. So for me, it's very straightforward that the first trumpet is actually the Vietnam War, and also it fits during the timeline. So once I get some sort of a timeline for the first trumpet, the third trumpet, and the fifth and the sixth trumpet, and also the sixth seal, so I move forward during the seals, right? Who could be the four apocalypse horsemen? And when you look at it, for me, it's still pretty straightforward. That's like four main factors or four main countries that is involved during the Second World War. First, of course, is the United States of America, and it fits as the first horseman of the apocalypse because, well, the United States wasn't trying to conquer other nations or invade or attack. They were like defensive. They were in a defensive, protective stance. And that's where they appear to be, as a white horse, righteousness. Horse means symbolically, wealth and army, right? So this army was like, this nation was like white. Their intent was righteous. They wanted to protect the world from the bad guys. And then the bow seems reasonable because it's a long-range weapon, right? So United States is in the middle of the ocean where you have the Japanese across the Pacific and you have the Nazis across the Atlantic. So this war is a long-range warfare according to the Bible. And this white horseman of the apocalypse has a crown on his head, right? So he is he will become victorious. So as we know, United States won the Second World War, and it coincides with the prophecies of the sixth trumpet, the last trumpet, right? This last trumpet, United States bombed Japan and win the Second World War. So actually, the sixth trumpet fulfill also the first. The six seals also fulfill the first seal. So it's what we call a beautifully tied, tied events. The first and the last events all tied together and finishing both at the same time. Amazing. So you go through the first, and then the second is red horse, and then you have this the red horseman of the apocalypse with a huge sword. Okay, so in my mind, a sword, an army with sword, and it's red. And during the Second World War, for me, it's Japan, right? So they have this flag, this red flag of the rising sun, and all their soldiers have a sword during the Second World War. And samurai has this symbolic sword for as a warrior, right? The ninja has a sword. So the sword mostly represent in Asian culture, Japan. It's very famous for its katana sword. So all this fit into this second horseman of the apocalypse, and they wage war. So Emperor Hirohito actually commanded his army, and they killed nearly like 40 or 50 million Asian in the Pacific War during the Second World War. So this fits in nicely. And also, if you look back in the book of Daniel 11:39, okay, 11:39. I just want to move. Okay, we know Hitler, okay, is involved. So in Daniel 11, you have this Antichrist, okay, who worship the what you call the god of the fortress. So we skip over, we just move forward a little bit to the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, the pale horseman of the apocalypse. And he killed people, right? So the guy who's following him, Hades, is Mussolini, okay? Italy, Mussolini. So you have the Antichrist in the book of Daniel, chapter 11, 36 to 45. You have this Antichrist who doesn't worship his previous god. Hitler is, I think, is a Catholic and Christian, so he doesn't worship, Jesus and Christianity, his ancestors' God, but he worshipped the god of fortress. So because he spent all his money, okay, building his army, so his god is the god of fortress. And in the book of Daniel, it said that this god of fortress attacked the mightiest fortress. Okay, who is the mightiest fortress? It's United States of America. So we have the white horse, right? And then with the help, okay, he couldn't attack the mightiest fortress alone. He has to have some help. And in the book of Daniel 11:39, that help came from a foreign god. So Hirohito, in Japan, Japanese emperor has this title. He's Tenno. Tenno is heaven. Okay, Tenno is heaven. So he's the heavenly king. Heavenly king. So he's a god, right? It's a god. And Japanese people at that time, just like Thai people, almost like worship or respect, the king almost as a semi-deity type of being. So he's like a god, according to the Bible, right? So this is a foreign god, from Asia, right? So Hitler, okay, cooperate with a foreign god, Hirohito, the red horseman of the apocalypse, to attack, okay, the mightiest fortress in the world during the Second World War, which is United States of America. So we have both the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation saying the same thing about the Second World War. But the book of Revelation is more precise because we have the timeline and all the components, okay, of the Second World War. Meanwhile, the book of Daniel is just like some, some detailed description of the events, but it doesn't encompass everything, the main points of the World War II. It just has some factors, okay, some major factors from the World War II. Compared to the book of Revelation, we have the horseman of the white horseman of the apocalypse, United States. We have the red horseman of the apocalypse, and then we have the pale horseman of the apocalypse, right? So we have the third One is the major one, which is the dark horseman of the apocalypse, the black horseman, which for me is Russia. Why did I say it's Russia? Okay, it's actually USSR in the past, right? So the thing is that, okay, first of all, why is it black? Why is it dark? Because the location of the events happens at the Dark Sea, okay, at the Black Sea, okay. So that is the word black, okay, coming from. So because of this, okay, the events of the Black Horseman concerns famine, man-made famine. And we know historically, Joseph Stalin, the leader of the previous USSR, he created this famine that historically called Holodomor. Holodomor is where Stalin have this agricultural project that resulted in the death of like 6 to 7 million Ukrainians died because of his mismanagement mismanagement, or maybe his intentionally, evil genocide, killing all this Ukrainian people just slightly before the Second World War, and leading into the Second World War, where many Russian soldiers died during 20 million actually, and most of them died because of without food during the war. So the Black Horseman of the Apocalypse is USSR, and represented by Joseph Stalin, who created this horrific events, the Holodomor in Ukraine. Okay. So we have the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse complete. And then the 5th seals, okay, where you have all these dead people under the altar. And at that time, I know to be a fact, I believe that it's true that all these are the Jews that died during the Second World War. What should be so horrific and genocide as that event, right? Why is Hitler called the death, the Grim Reaper, because he killed God's beloved people, the Jews. They died almost like 6 or 7 million people during the Holocaust. And God gave us a hint. God gave us a hint in the seals. One of the hints is that the name of the Holocaust. Remember that all these souls under the altar crying out for God. The word Holocaust means the sacrificially burning of the offerings on the altar. Okay, total burning of the offerings on the altar. So we have all these Jews who die as a sacrificial lamb of salt, and their souls was under this altar crying out to God for revenge, right? So that's the 5th seals. So we have all the events of the seals combined for one main single purpose, for one big purpose. What is that purpose? That is Revelation 7. Revelation 7 is the purpose, the objective of Second World War. We have millions, hundreds of millions of people dying all around the world with the most powerful weapons that can destroy the world being used. Okay, God allows it because of this objective. What is this objective? This objective is the Old Testament, the covenant, the fulfillment of the Old Covenant. You have to get back into the Old Covenant. And you have to put yourself in the shoes of the Jews, the Israel. Okay, they lost their nation. They lost. They've been punished. They have been dispersed from their lands because of the mistake they made. Okay, they were being punished by God. So, but in the Old Testament, God told them again and again that one day God will forgive them and bring them back to their own homeland. And that's one of the reasons that they don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah, because Jesus did not bring them back to their homeland. It was in 1945, right? So Jesus didn't bring them back. But if the book of Revelation is true, according to my interpretation, then you realize that the Second World War in 1939 to 1945 resulting in the state of Israel being born in 1948. Because without World War II, there won't be a state of Israel. Okay? People around the world, okay, the old power, the colonial power, okay, and the old Arab power, and all the other powers would not allow the Israel, the Jews, to move back to the promised land and have their own land. The UN won't have that resolution. Because of the Holocaust, all the Jewish people died during the Holocaust. They've been bullied by Hitler and other people, other dictators or other leaders around the world. So the United Nations approved of the state of Israel being born. They say that the Jews need to have a place. So who opened all the seals? If you go back, okay, who opened the seals? There's only one person who can open the seals. That's the Lamb. The Lamb is our Lord Jesus Christ, the Messiah, who opened the seals and caused the Second World War and resulting in the state of Israel being born. Thus, Jesus fulfilled the biggest major covenant in the Old Testament. Jesus bring all the Jews back to the promised land. This verified that Jesus is the real Messiah. And this information that you are listening right now, this information will travel all throughout the world, especially to the Jews. And they will realize that the book of the New Testament, the book of Revelation, prophesies that Jesus, the Messiah, fulfilled the old covenant, fulfilled the new covenant to bring the Jews back to the promised land successfully. And there's no other Messiah who did that but Jesus alone. Amen to that, right? So this information that you're listening right now will travel. This will be the evidence in the New Testament, a solid evidence that pronounce the guy who's responsible, to bringing all the Jews back to the promised land is our Lord and Messiah, Jesus Christ. That's so profound. That's so profound. And the Jews will come one day to accept that Jesus is the Lord. Okay, so the first seal is complete, and then we have the trumpet. The trumpet, the second trumpet, is the Iran-Iraq war, which is actually the emphasis on the tankers war. You have the most oil tankers destroyed during this war from 1980 to 1988. That fits right between Vietnam War and Chernobyl in 1986. Right? So this event fits nicely, and is the largest, after the Second World War, the largest amount of ship being destroyed, and actually fall into this category of environmental pollution. You have a fifth and the sixth trumpet, where Saddam was the largest polluter of oil pollution in the world, ranking the highest in the millions of gallons or millions of tons of oil being spilled and destroyed during the Gulf War. And you have the United States during the Vietnam War turning from white now to gray, bombing Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam with the largest hail bomb in the history, napalm bomb, etc. Okay, and polluting the environment with this Agent Orange chemical spray. And you have the second trumpet, where you have almost 400 ships. Okay, almost 400 ships was being attacked, and 50 of them, 50 was being totally destroyed. That is oil tanker ship. Okay, imagine just one oil tanker filled with all those oil being spilled. We have a major oil pollution event, but this is 400 oil tankers being attacked, and 50 of those being totally destroyed, either being unusable or sink to the bottom of the sea. So the second trumpet is a huge event. It's part of the Iran-Iraq war, which is the tankers war. So we just have one event left, which is the fourth trumpet. So if you read carefully, you will see that the six seals and the fourth trumpet has similar description. Okay, stars, the moon, the stars, the sun, blah blah blah, right? So the sixth seals is the atomic bomb, the nuclear bomb. So this one is about this description about the nuclear disaster that we have. But it's not just one single event. Okay, it's not just one single event. It's over 2,000 events from 1945 to 1992. Almost 2,000 nuclear bombs being tested. Each one more powerful, hundreds and thousands of times more powerful than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So imagine all this nuclear radiation, 2,000 bombs being tested around the world secretly, but giving all this radiation in space, in the sky, on Earth, under the Earth. Imagine the environmental pollution it caused. So that's the fourth trumpet. What is the main theme of the fourth trumpet, of all the trumpets? It's about environmental pollution. Why did God focus on this environmental pollution. Why is it such a big deal? This is like the second part. We have only 3 parts in the book of Revelation. The seals, the trumpets, and the bowls, right? This is the second part. This is all the second part. Why is it so important? You have to go back to the book of Genesis. God created the world in 6 days. God created the world in 6 days. And on last days, God rested. But before he rested, he looked at all his creation, everything. And he said, top me off. Amazing. Amazing. This is the only time in the whole of the Bible that God uses this word. Amazing. Because why? God, this is his creation. This is his wonderful, beloved creation, the world. And God told Adam, Eve, humanity, to look after it, to take care of it, take control of it, subdue it. And then what do? We destroy it. We destroy it. How sad. How sad. We destroy it. It's like God's masterpiece, and we crush it, and we trash it. You think that God is okay with that? No. God is furious. So if you look at Revelation 11, what did God say? Revelation 11. Okay? Revelation 11. 11:18. This is where God said, okay? He will destroy those who destroy the earth. God will destroy those who destroy the earth. That's in Revelation 11, chapter 11:18. God will destroy. It's what destroy. Okay, for those who destroy the earth. So you have all these people destroying the earth, and God promised them that God will destroy them. God's furious. And all the trumpets, okay, ended. The closing chapter. Just like chapter 7 of the book of Revelation closed all the seals. Chapter 10 of the book of Revelation closed all the trumpet. Closed all the 7 trumpets. Okay, all the 6 trumpets. About environmental pollution. I did not know. Okay, I do not understand the book of Revelation 10 for decades. I realized everything happened. And I pray to God, give me wisdom, give me understanding of the book of Revelation. I couldn't decipher what it means. Irvin Baxter got stuck. He couldn't continue his end-time timeline. He knew it's supposed to be there. He knows that Persian Gulf War is the 5th and the 6th, but he could not continue further because God did not give him his key. But one morning, God gave me that key. I was praying on my bed in Thailand, Bangkok. I was thinking about the book of Revelation 10. And right there, boom! I saw this picture. I saw this picture. I saw this man. I saw this man doing has this exact posture as the angel of Revelation 10. One of his hands is on the Bible. The other is raised up. Same side as in the Bible, raised up and swear to God. Obama was not yet President of the United States on that day. When I was in bed on that day, he was not yet President of the United States. That was on the 20th January that day he was going to be inaugurated into the White House. But that hasn't happened yet. But I saw this vision of him swearing into the White House, and I know that he's going to swear because that is the procedure. To become the President of the United States, you have to swear on the Bible, lift up your hand and swear on the Bible, and that's the exact portion that I saw that matched the angel of book of Revelation 10. I was shocked. I wake up, I was not really in this, I wasn't really sleeping. I was like lying on bed and praying. So I wake up and I was all excited because finally I understand. Finally I understand. Who is the angel of Revelation 10? This is the guy. Obama. So I wake up and really go do my research. And to my surprise, his logo, well, this is one of his gay logo, but you know, his main logo is quite similar, except that this part is not rainbow. But I want to emphasize the rainbow because his logo is a sun. And this is a sky, it's similar to the angel of Revelation 10. And then this rainbow, okay, the flag actually represents also the rainbow configuration. For me, it matched. And it was like, wow. And I understand what all these symbols mean at that time. Okay? The sun, the cloud, and the rainbow. Rainbow is God gave us the rainbow to remind him that he won't try to flood everything in the world and destroy all the people, all the living things ever again. So when you see this rainbow at the end times, just like Jesus said, the end days is like the days of Noah, one thing came to mind. Major world flood. Major world flood. But this is not God's doing. The major world flood is not God's doing. It's humanity causing this oil pollution, all this pollution, global warming. Okay, the sun, the sky, the clouds, and the rainbow all represents global warming, where I believe that it will lead to an expansion of the sea, rising of the sea level, maybe the ice caps of the polar region melted. Somehow, all this environmental pollution, especially global warming, will cause major floods around the world that destroy a lot of humanity. A lot of human lives will be destroyed, not because of God, but because of man. Because of man, environmental pollution. But God sent this guy, Angel Barack, President Obama, to prevent this global flood. Why? Because he has this two pillars on his leg. The pillar reflects the angel during Exodus, where God leads the Israel people, and he also protects them from the Egyptian army. So the pillar of fire on his leg, on the land and on the sea, represent the protection from the sea. Okay? And on the land, protection against what? Against global warming, global flood. So at that time, I looked at Obama political agenda, and you began to see this pattern. He emphasized clean power, clean energy. He emphasized global, prevention of global warming. Blah, blah, blah. That is his biggest emphasis. So it matches with the role of the angel of Revelation 10. But I was waiting for more. I was waiting for 8 years. Why? Because United States of America has never signed the Paris Agreement, which concerns the global warming. United States of America has never signed, never come into that agreement. And it's about global warming. And I'm waiting. If he's a guy, who leads the world against global warming, prevention of the global warming, then he has to sign. He has to represent the United States and has to sign, right? That's the logical, conclusion. So I was waiting for 8 years. Before he left office, he finally signed. I don't know. Okay, Trump came and then he lead the United States out of the Paris Agreement. But no matter what, because of Obama engagement and even perhaps of Trump, which is against, but then these two incidents incite other nations to move forward. Okay, it becomes a trend. It becomes an acceptable trend, policy for us humanity to take a serious step forward against global warming. No longer was it like, wow, it's like pseudo-social science. It's like, it's not really scientific. There's like, okay, ice age, all this do. It's not about human. Human doesn't cause it. It's just nature. But no, not anymore. After Obama, it becomes a serious scientific fact that we humans are causing this, global environmental disaster. But we have yet to realize that it will finally result in a major flood around the world, right? According to Revelation 12, at least, the dragon spilled out some water, which the earth, consumed it, but still, we will survive. Not all the people will die, or not all living things. God promised us with the rainbow, but it will still be major events, okay, about global flooding. And another thing I have always in my mind, what is the secret for the seven thunders? What is the secret in the seven thunders in the book of Revelation? That really crawls under my skin, Why God doesn't have John write it down? What is so secretive about it? And on that morning, on my bed, God told me, go and listen to Obama inauguration speech. The secret is there. He will say something similar to, there will be no more delay. Your cue is to go and look in his inauguration speech. When he started, there will be no more delay. That is the secret. And lo and behold, the only verse in the only sentence of all his sentence in the inauguration speech, there's only one reference to the Bible, and he say, begins now, from now on. It's almost like there will be no more delay. Now, this is time, okay, and that is the speech he made. A very small sentence, a paragraph, small paragraph, where he said all men are created equal. Boom! That's the secret. That's the secret of the seven thunders. That's the secret. And a lot of people will say, well, we are all equal. No, we have never been equal. Where in the Bible that Obama was referring to that we are equal? Females has to listen to the male. That was the first curse, right? And even in the New Testament, female couldn't speak out in church. Where's the equality in there? Noah cursed Ham and Canaan to be slaves, to serve. That's not equality. And it has not been resolved before this time. What about, even in the New Testament, command, if you are slaves, go and serve your master. You should serve them sincerely, just as like you serve God. So there's no equality. No actual equality until this declaration by Obama, where all men are created equal on the 20th January by Obama, the first inauguration. And what this year is that? 2016. Okay, 20th. Oh no. That's the Paris Agreement. Sorry. So yeah, 2009. I'm sorry, 2009. 20th January 2009 of Obama inauguration. That is where he say, according to the Bible, that is official declaration that where all men, all people, by this angel of Revelation 10, that all men are created equal. Boom. And look, that was a very symbolic moment for the people of United States of America. Okay. I was in the States for many years. I was in college. And I know about racism. And I know about segregation. I know American history enough. So that I know that the first African American to become the President of the United States of America is the event, the experience, so profound, so emotional. I know that a lot of African Americans cry. This is not just a humanity event, but this is a God event. This is a revelation event, apocalyptic event, that God is declaring, finally, after all these years. The book of Revelation is like the season finale. It has to finish, complete, fulfill all God's covenant. That is why I keep going back and forth from Genesis to the book of Revelation. I want you guys to see the beginning, the cause, and the final objective result. This is the fulfillment. This is the fulfillment of God's scriptures. This is fulfillment. God complete. Okay, erase. Jesus did that. Because he died on the cross, he was the person who able to open all the seals and the trumpets and the bowls that result in Revelation 10, and that result in God having this angel declaring that all men are created equal. I know a lot of people say Obama is, conspiracy theories, cabal, all these things. Even Trump. Look at the scriptures and don't look all this myth at the end times. Okay? All this false news, fake news. Look at the book of Revelation. Look at the Bible and understand the story behind it. And you'll finally know what is going on. There's no other people, as far as I'm concerned, in the whole world, or in YouTube, or on YouTube, that say Obama is the angel of Revelation 10. But I'm saying that right now. I'm trying to prove to you, I'm prophesying, so that you know the next event that's going to happen. And that you will know that what I say is true concerning Obama and the Revelation 10. So, Obama fulfills two things. One, environmental pollution, the prevention of it. And two, equality. And he represents human equality. And if you look, I was in 2016, Obama was going out of office. And I have no idea what is going to happen. I just know that we are in Revelation 10 at that time, but I have no idea what's going to happen next. And then, on the news, I saw this guy, what is it? Running for President of the United States. I knew about him. He was a television host. I don't really like him. He was, what's his show? Apprentice something. The Apprentice, I think. And he keeps on saying, "You're fired," I'm a businessman, so I don't really like to fire people. But he keep on saying that. "You're fired." And it's just not nice. So I don't really like the guy. And he's very playboyish and among other things. So very egoistic guy. But once when I heard that he's running for president, his name, Trump, that resonated immediately. That resonated to me immediately because why? We are at the trumpets. We are at the trumpets. We are going into the last trumpet, the seventh, but we are still in the trumpets. And this guy names means trump, the root word for trumpet, which means victory. And if you have been listening to Kim Kleiman, I wasn't listening to him. I didn't know him until like a few years ago, which is about, the last president election in 2020. So I heard about Kim Kleiman during that time. When I predicted Trump to be the president of the United States in 2016, I didn't know about Kim Kleiman. Kim Kleiman prophesied in the year 2007 that Trump was going to be the president of the United States. He is going to be Trump, the trumpet. Wow! He said exactly as I said. I made the graphic and posted on my Facebook about August concerning this that election. And I prophesied that Trump was going to win. But climate, 10 years before, I don't think Trump has that in mind, but then 10 years, climate already prophesied that Trump was going to win that election. Maybe Trump heard about it, that's why he ran for the presidential election. Who knows, right? But anyway, I also prophesied. I knew Trump was going to be. Why? Because if you look at Revelation 10, okay, the angel of Revelation 10 handed this scroll to John in Revelation 10:8. The angel, which is Obama, was supposed to hand the small scroll, which is the Bible, the presidential election Bible or something, to give it to John. Well, literally, he will have to give it to the next, president of the United States, following him, right? Which, another coincidence, Donald has a middle name, means John. Wow. It gives me goosebumps all over. Because two of his name match Revelation 10. John and trumpet. Victory. And I know that God is going to win, right? Because this guy is John. He represents John. And I know that he's going to, fulfill his role as John in Revelation 10 and 11. And I just checked for Hillary. I'm nothing against Hillary. Actually, I was rooting for her because I like Bill Clinton. I like his era about all this economics booms in the States, which is not too bad during his administration. So I actually liked Hillary, and I actually would like to see a woman president. First woman president of the United States of America. Actually, I really like Hillary more than Trump, to be honest, if it's not about the Bible. But then Hillary has a middle name called Diana, which we all know is Diana. Diana is a Roman goddess of the hunt, like Artemis, which is God's, opponent during the New Testament. And then, lo and behold, if you look at her symbol, which political symbol, is H with an arrow. The Diana, the goddess Diana, and the goddess Artemis is the goddess of the hunt, and the symbol is the bow and arrow. So I'm not surprised that Hillary used that symbol as an aggressive, goddess symbol. But it also represents for her the other side of God's plan, which is against Trump. God, the person God's chosen as John, the trumpet. So, with both sides clear, I just knew that Trump will win that election. So when Trump won that election, I was all ears and eyes. Why? I was waiting for him to fulfill Revelation 11, 1 and 2. Trump has to go and measure the outer court of the temple in Jerusalem, where he will cause Third World War. Okay? By the beast of the abyss. And I was waiting for him to do that. So when he started declaring that he recognized Jerusalem as Israel capital. Okay. I was like, right, he is on track. He's on track. Because why? For 25 years, since 1995, no president of the United States dared to sign and recognize Jerusalem as Israel capital. And no country, no other country, dared to recognize Jerusalem as Israel capital since the 7 Days War. Or 6 Days War. Anyway. 6 Days War. Yeah, 6 Days War. 6 Days War. No country. And finally, within just a year, Trump recognized Jerusalem. And it was a apocalyptic historical movement because he moved the United States Embassy to Jerusalem as well. On the 70th anniversary of the state of Israel being born, and the 50th year of Israel capturing Jerusalem, regaining Jerusalem. It was a moment of the scriptures being fulfilled, the covenant of God being fulfilled. God gained back the promised land, the Israel gained back the promised land because of the seal and because of Trump, Jerusalem, USA in the middle. Trump gained back God's recognized is Jerusalem as Israel as God's capital in fulfillment of the scriptures. And you know, in that year, in the time that Trump got inaugurated, it was the Jewish year 5777. So if we believe that 666 is sort of like, you know, the evil, right, seals, so numbers also meant something in the scriptures. 5777. And Trump, on the 20th January 2017, he was 70 years old, 7 months and 7 days. 777 again. So you can't deny that Trump is a person that God chose to fulfill. And in anyway, we'll see about it because today we are still in September in the year 2023. Election will be next year, 2024. So according to climate, Trump will have a second term. And according to me, Trump has not finished his role as John in Revelation 11, 1-2. He has not go and measure the outer temple court, and he has not caused a riot, a protest around that court for 42 months, according to Revelation 11, 1-2. And he has not caused the Third World War, which is Revelation 13, where the beast of the abyss, okay, the Mahdi, Islamic savior, who united the Islamic people as one united people, according to their sacred book, Hadith. They will united as one united people under the Mahdi and wage war around the world on all nations, all people, and they will be victorious for 42 months. Okay? There will be the Antichrist that will shout out against God, according to Revelation 13. So, this is what I'm waiting. This is what we should be waiting. When Trump's come back, okay, all the people who cheered Trump will think that they failed because Trump caused the Third World War. They will think that they make a mistake. All the people will criticize them choosing Trump and causing the Third World War. But he fulfilled. John Trump fulfilled Revelation 11, 1-2. And the people, and all the people will know about this prophecy that I made today. And they will come to realize that the book of Revelation is really happening. And all the rest of the events will be in according to the book that I've written for 27 years. This is still in time. My English version of it has not been published. It will be soon, according to God's will. Amen. Hallelujah. So, keep watch. You do not know what is happening, but already told you. God never do anything before he tells his prophet first. So, I'm telling you now. Amen. Hallelujah.